bring in Professor Charles Ofoegbu, an energy expert and former head of exploration research at the NNPC, now NNPCL, and a member of the Advisory Committee on Oil and Gas Development in Anambra State. Professor Ofoegbu, good to see you, and thanks for your time.
Thanks for joining us.
You know, when politicians speak specifically about subsidy, which is one of the reasons everyone has a say in local parlance running kitty kitty kata kata, but now we're trying to see how we can make sense of the whole. Speak to us about the understanding you got listening to these candidates, you know, before the election and what we're having at the moment about subsidy.
Well, I think before the elections and the candidates all tried to address the issue of subsidy. I use the word tried because we were speaking from one side of the mouth. Remember, they're campaigning and they were being careful. They'll be very careful to be seen to be saying what people want to hear. A lot of the candidates, most of the candidates, all talked about subsidy removal, what will be done, what will not be done. No one, all through that campaign, even in course of interviews or anything, and the journalists, or nobody actually asked them, can you come and tell us what will you do? Not what you think you will do, but what will you do? How would you come out, let the people know? If they had come out, then we would have been in a better position to say what Mr. President said on his inaugural speech, in the course of his inaugural speech, was different from theirs or not. None of them did come out. They all said, yeah, subsidy, P2B talked about the corruption, 50% only being serving the purpose, the rest not serving the purpose. Kwanko also said he was going to address the issue of corruption in the. He has not said something. He has not actually addressed the issue of subsidy. Yeah.
Well, you can be sure that Arise News did, you know, provide the platform for all the candidates to come speak on different aspects of national life, including, of course, the thorny issue of fuel subsidy. But it looks like, I mean, listening to Kwankwaso, Atiku, Obi, and all, it's this. I mean, the difference actually is the same, one might say.
Yes.
So is it a case of, look, it's easier said than done, really? As a candidate, aspirant or candidate, you see it from a different angle. But when you're there, like President Tinubu is there now, he's seeing it from a different angle entirely. Though he made that statement, well, fuel subsidy is gone at the, you know, his inauguration speech. Apparently he had not seen the whole ramification of this whole thing. How best do you think now that this situation is like this? How best do you think this administration should handle this so things don't get out of hand?
Let me just, before I address that, let me just say that the way the issue of removal of subsidy was handled was actually not right. It suggests that professionals who are supposed to have given advice either never did make contribution to that speech or gave, but their opinions were not taken. No one in planning, no one, especially when the society is involved, will get up the very first speech a president is giving. I'm sorry I've said this. The very first speech, inaugural speech, come point blank, subsidy is gone. Has the president held meetings with then later on start meeting with NNPC, which is a major player in the industry, then start meeting with the organized labor, then start meeting with the downstream regulatory bodies. I think the normal thing would have been first be inaugurated, maybe now say that following my inauguration, I'm going to look into the issue of fuel subsidy, and then come back and meet with the people and allow those who will implement even the removal of the subsidy to make this announcement and have it sink into the system.
I see the point Prof is bringing. Sorry, Rosie, because I see the Prof you're bringing. You're saying, sorry to cut you both short there. You say, like, those who couch the speech should have consulted experts on different aspects of our national life that he spoke about.
Yes.
And
That's
how
what I'm
to,
saying.
and how to,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because the crisis that has left, imagine people were at filling stations while the inauguration was going on, and suddenly on the queue at the filling station, as soon as that happened, the filling station shut down and said, "We'll stop selling. The fuel has finished. We don't have any fuel." They shut down, and you know let me be frank with you. The economists will tell you the impact of that in the both economics or economy of this country cannot be underestimated.
You were once with the NNPC, and the NNPC actually was the first of the fuel, marketers, if you like, to hike their prices at the pump, at the pumps. The NNPC, now.
Well, let me NNPC have been looking for a way out of the crisis. Finds itself in the issue of fuel subsidy. Whether or not we should be subsidized, or fuel should be subsidized the way it is subsidized in Nigeria, let me be frank with you, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, everybody seems to be
it shouldn't be
in agreement with that.
But then NNPC also believe that this is an opportunity. You know, when you cage a man or a cat cage a cat, and then suddenly he sees an opening to get out. He believes that, wow, so now we can jump out. So NNPC jumped out, and then what does NNPC do? The first thing to do is to say, this is now the price of the deregulated.
And now we are out. NNPC is out. The cat is out.
cat is
A lot of cats out. So what should be the next thing now to make this look beautiful? Because you're also an expert. You've already said it's a thing that should go ultimately.
Yes.
But now that it wasn't done the right way, and we're working towards fixing it, how can this be fixed?
Now, the problem has been created. We need to seek a solution to it. The solution, everyone should be prepared to take a bit of battery to get a solution to this. Both organized labor, both NNPC, both the government. We should all come to terms with the fact that the way it was done, well, wasn't very proper, very fair to organized labor. It wasn't very fair to the community, because a lot of people are now are suffering already as a consequence. I was watching you, so a lot of people are suffering already. So what the government needs to do now, what I suggest now is that there must be an intensified discussion with the organized labor who represent the masses. Let me be frank with you. NLC is supposed to represent the masses, because NLC covers even the market association or the association, TUC at the same time. There should be a very thorough meetings with them. And then the Ministry of Labor should also now tell us to what extent have you implemented the palliatives that were supposed to come before the subsidy was removed. To what extent, and if necessary, if government decided to remove the entire subsidy in one stretch, then you must also go back and look at, because what it means is that you have increased the price of fuel by nearly 200, a little over 200%, while at the same time salaries have increased by 40%, assuming everybody has gotten that increase that we talked about. Now, what happens to the remaining 160%? Remember, when you increase the price of fuel, the price of transportation increased. A trip from Guanyanya to Kefi, for example, that used to be 600 naira, suddenly went up to 1,200 naira. Now the trader will go, the farmer who goes to bring the food will also double his own price of food. The same thing happens to the KK, the Okada, everything has just changed automatically. And then what of the income base? I know the price of fuel in Nigeria is ridiculously very low, but again, the income, we should be able to tie these prices vis-a-vis the income, and as the prices are increasing, also look at the earning power of the people that are going to be paying that.
We'll have to leave it there.
Yes.
Professor Charles Ofoegbu, thank you so much for joining us. He's a member advisory committee on oil and gas development, Anambra State. Thank you so much.